When the playoffs arrive, the intensity heightens. Mistakes are magnified, and greatness is revealed. The DC Breeze and New York Empire both have had stellar 2026 seasons. But after today, only one team's championship dream will continue into August. Welcome to the opening round of the postseason in the Ultimate Frisbee Association, where two worthy foes seek to survive and advance.
It's a glorious Saturday afternoon in the Big Apple, and we've got a glorious monster rivalry matchup in the opening round of the UFA playoffs. The DC Breeze and the New York Empire have a bunch of history. This is the 40th all-time meeting, and the winner today moves on to play the 11-1 Boston Glory 2 weeks from today up in Massachusetts. 4 first-round games this weekend across the association. Last night in the South Division, the Carolina Flyers rolled over the San Diego Growlers, advancing to play Austin. Later tonight, Seattle and Salt Lake battle to get the Spiders in a couple of weeks, and Madison and Indianapolis try to earn a trip to the Twin Cities. But today, our main story is obviously the Breeze and the Empire. And it is so great to welcome you in. Hi, everybody. Back at Focina Field, where the Breeze and Empire have had so many great battles. Evan Lepler alongside Keith Rayner. And this just feels like the next chapter, the 6th meeting all time in the playoffs between these two teams. New York has the firepower, but DC has the belief. They came to New York back in May and got the surprise, stunning last-second victory.
And these teams have so much history. This is the best rivalry in the league. And you hear the old cliches about throw the records out the window. This actually feels that way when you watch the games. You really don't know what these teams can bring to the table because they rise to a new level when they compete against each other. We also have a lot of new names and faces jumping in and out of the lineups for these two teams.
Oh, look, Alex Atkins might be the MVP of the league, and Ben Yacht has had a spectacular season too. But Dante Murray will be playing his first game against the Breeze, trying to prevent something like this from happening. Eva Vandenbrink to Luke Rafis back in early May. Got the DC Breeze the last-second overtime win, but then a couple weeks later, New York retaliated, winning by a comfortable 4-goal margin on the road. New York leads the league in O-line conversion rate. They have the best completion percentage, Keith, in the history of the league. On paper, statistically, New York has the advantage. However, this game is not played on paper.
It absolutely is not, and New York's numbers go down when they face off against this DC team. This season, we've seen those efficiency metrics, especially their D-line conversion rate, decrease. Now, having Dante Murray on your offense is generally going to increase your efficiency. This is a guy who's averaging almost 500 yards a game, over 6 scores a game. Those numbers are both near the top of the table for this Empire team, and it's just someone who's impossible to remove his influence from the game because of his stamina, because of his ability to contribute in lots of different ways, as a thrower, as a disc mover, as a play finisher. He can really get all of it done. Young Belgian star is going to make his mark here in the rivalry for the first time.
Let's pause for the national anthem. Well, up high, you see the flags rippling. There is a decent breeze, no pun intended. Down on the field, especially low throws, you don't feel it quite as much. It'll be interesting to see how the wind impacts the game. Christian Boxley has had another fine season for the Breeze, and he's kind of a guy that defers to teammates at times. I'm curious if he can be a takeover player today.
He struggled in their first matchup, the game that DC actually won with just 2 assists and 2 turnovers, but put together 7 scores the second time that these two teams matched up. So we'll see which side of Box shows up, because he's a guy who's known for his consistency, someone who brings a game in and game out using his quickness, his agility, his decision making to help make his teammates better. And his ability to grease the wheels is a big part of what can make DC successful. And they've had some big personnel losses from this offense. Some of those may be coming back for this game, but the consistent presence of Boxley has helped steady the ship for them this season.
It's the second year in a row and the 4th time in the last 5 years that the Breeze and Empire cross paths in the UFA playoffs. 4 quarters for a trip to Boston. Opening pull coming up next. The Ultimate Frisbee Association is proud to partner with Victory. Elevate your game with Victory insoles and recovery footwear at VKTRY.com. Delta THC Seltzers. No calories, no sugar, no alcohol. Catch life's moments at DrinkDelta.com. Two Town Cider House, bringing the best craft cider for everyday celebration. Find yours at TwoTownCiderHouse.com. And Disket. Round Net meets Ultimate. Disket is the must-have portable game for every UFA fan. Get yours at DisketGame.com. Game 2 of 4 on this playoff weekend in the Ultimate Frisbee Association. Later tonight, Seattle and Salt Lake. Tomorrow, Madison and Indy can be watched on WatchUFA.tv. The DC Breeze in their road whites came here in early May, on Mother's Day, in fact, and got a very dramatic walk-off win. See if they can replicate that today. Miles Grovick is going to have something to say about it. Breeze going with a lot of youth, but they also get a couple of talented veterans back. Cole Jurek, Aiden Downey in the lineup. Jurek making a season debut. It'll be the Empire offense taking the field first. Let's meet them.
Alex Atkins, University of Colorado Boulder.
Matt LeBar, James Madison University.
Ben Yacht, Minnesota. Solomon Rushmeyer Bailey, Brown University. Jack Williams, UNC Wilmington.
Jacob Cowan, Grinnell College.
Dan Demarais, UCLA.
It's a stacked unit, Keith. This group has helped the Empire lead the league in hold rate, O-line conversion rate, completion percentage, and more. See how they fare today against this DC defense as Coach Anthony Nunez tries to fire up his D-line.
What motivates me is the fact that if we win today, we get to play more Frisbee together.
All right, here we go. DC and New York. Hard to imagine any other way in the East Division playoffs. Alex Atkins, who led the league in yards, almost turns it over on his first throw. Demarais gains some yards with a diagonal look to Matt LeBar. Jacob Cowan gets a touch. LeBar squeezes it for Jack Williams. Cowan looking for Yacht. Defenders go with him.
Nice job by the DC defense to manage that switch.
Demarais finds the open man in the back corner of the end zone, and the Empire strike first in just 43 seconds officially off the clock. Jack Williams has the opening score.
Not exactly the most fluid offensive point we've seen from this hyper-efficient offense. I think the DC defense is going to be happy with that as a starting point for how they want to impact this Empire team. Being able to cut off that initial continue and force an extra couple of throws in the red zone, give you a chance of getting that turnover that could be a difference maker. You know, we could be in for a low turnover game. It's all, as efficient as these two teams can be. So a nice job by the DC defense, but ultimately the Empire offense able to get a clean hold with mostly uncontested options.
Nobody in the league has played more consecutive games than Sean Mott, who we just saw standing on the line. Today's his 114th straight game, but just his second playoff game after a long time in Philadelphia. Only had one playoff game with the Phoenix.
We just need to be on them and not be biting on these little cats. Off the start.
Did go for 3 goals and 5 assists in his first time in the playoffs, so could be a guy we see showing up, putting up some numbers again.
Mott gets it up to Gus Norbaum, another one of the veterans who's back in the lineup today. Mott just shy, guarded by his longtime friend, teammate, Marquez Brownlee. Christian Boxley zips it into the end zone, and Andrew Roy's got the goal. And with 10.5 minutes to go in the first quarter, it's the Breeze and Empire even at 1 goal apiece.
And something of a mirroring offensive hold for the Breeze. Again, able to traverse the first part of the field very easily, get into the red zone, facing a little bit of resistance, find your way around it for an easy score. But you see that these two teams have the ability to strike quickly, and I think which defense can slow the game down a bit could be a deciding factor in which one of these teams is going to be more successful.
So solid starts for both O-lines, both score in around 45 seconds or so. DC bringing a bunch of youth onto its defense, trying to make some plays against this exceptionally talented and deep New York O-line. Alex Davis gets his first touch, and some of these unders just look so easy, Keith. Now Yacht shooting it deep. Jack Williams with a left hand, elevates and scores, skying over Josh Leitner.
Evan, I don't know if that looked like regular season Jack out there. Our first sighting of playoff Jack, I mean, it's so early, but going up big for the score and bailing Yacht out of a little bit of a floater here for what could have been a pretty effortless hold for the Empire.
Ben Yacht has only had 2 throwaways all season. That's his 28th assist. He's had an incredibly efficient 2026. And Jack Williams, you're right, Keith, he's been quiet at times during the regular season, but the playoffs are usually when Jack looks like one of the best players in the world.
We also got Ben Yacht, who was held scoreless in their playoff matchup against DC last year in that devastating loss. Really disappointing performance for Yacht then, and now off to a better start here in the first.
Feels like every game in the East Division you have matchup of Brown University standouts. John Randolph guarding Jacques Nissen this point. Jacques gets free downfield. Jacques, and a bobble and a catch, securing it in the end zone. Theo Shapinski hangs on, and it's 2-all. Quick pace, 4 goals in just over 2 minutes.
We've seen 2 different types of games from these teams during the course of the season. They had a bit of a slog in their second game, an 18-14 win for New York. The first game a little more quick pace, but these two teams tend to slow each other down. I mentioned that they tend to drop each other's general efficiency. This is a high-paced start to this game. Offenses are having their way. Great point for A.J. Merriman, who's really taken advantage of some quickness against Oliver Fay, and then finished off by Shapinski, who's been a goal-scoring revelation since being added to the Breeze. Guy I think most people know for his throwing prowess. from his college days in Michigan.
25 goals among the team leaders for the Breeze. Two of their top goal scorers, Gabe Dowd and Kobe Loveranis, not in the active 20 today. Going with the young guys, or the veterans. Going deep for Dande Murray here, and he reads it well. Bailing Atkins out a bit. And then Desmarais pops it up, but Jacob Cowan has plenty of room. The goals are coming fast and furious.
Was that a Huck here in New York, or was I watching something at Tom's tourney or the European Championships? Viva Brandenbrink from the Netherlands trying to cover Dande Murray from Belgium. And you can't let Dande Murray get behind you like that when Alex Atkins has the disc. Just defense definitely not going to feel like they delivered on what they were trying to accomplish there. Way too easy of an isolation for one of the most dangerous duos in the league.
So let's see here. The Empire's first possession was 43 seconds. Their second possession was 19 seconds, yacht to Williams. And their third possession was 26 seconds.
Evans just counting over here. He's been counting the duration of each of these possessions.
They have scored
manually.
quick. Grovic, guarded by Schnodegel. Andrew Roy swings it around to Norbaum. Here's Boxley matched up with Antoine Davis, and our first whistle for a midpoint violation. It's contact against the Empire, and it'll give free 10 yards to DC. The Breeze 9-3 during the regular season. The Empire 10-2. But New York, the only team in the league that did not lose a single game in regulation. Both New York losses came in overtime. One against Boston, one against DC. Looking long. Grovic wants Boxley. Antoine Davis is there, and he does enough.
There's a lot of ways in which I might want to attack Antoine Davis with a skilled player like Christian Boxley, and deep might not be one of them.
Brownlee floats it deep. Oh, it hangs forever for Randolph. New York on the brink of the break. Schnodegel showing patience and then almost throws it away. Sam Jonas saves him. John Randolph called him the best D-line quarterback in the league right now. Jonas on the doorstep again. Grovic doing everything he can to prevent Randolph from getting it back, but Axel Agami-Contreras beats Andrew Roy, and New York breaks for the first time.
The Empire possessing one of the league's most efficient red zone offenses among their many efficiency metrics of success this season. And they're able to convert after a just absolutely gorgeous forehand huck for Marquez Brownlee. Antoine Davis on his end doing his job on another throw that I think these players are a bit surprised is floating on them. It's maybe the fourth throw between the two teams that we've seen go up, particularly in that direction, and hung on the air. But perfectly weighted huck from Brownlee helped set up that score for Agami-Contreras.
And it speaks volumes, Keith, that like we could go a long time without talking about Antoine Davis or Marquez Brownlee, and obviously big plays on that last point, and those are two of the best players in their era. Antoine just recorded his 109th career block, triple-digit goals, assists, and blocks, one of 17 guys in the history of the league who can say that. Here's the veteran Jeff Wodach. We legally have to introduce him as that, the veteran Jeff Wodach. That's what he likes to be called. He is 39, but he's still fast. Here's Mott. To Boxley. Nissen. Marked by Marquez. And Theo Shapinski was 5 yards away trying to toe in the end zone. Now he's in. Second goal for Shapinski, 4-3, Empire by 1.
You thought he was fooled, but he fooled you, Evan. I think, and maybe the defense with that one. It caused everybody to look up like, wait, he's not in, and he said, now I am. Little sneaky move by Theo Shapinski. I'm probably giving him a bit too much credit, but another goal for Shapinski, who has really stuck out as a part of the breakout group for this DC team this season. You know, I'd say he and Miles Grovic are probably the two biggest names of players who've taken a big step forward for this offense. And aside from amassing an incredible total of goals, he only has turnovers in one game this season. All of his turnovers came against Boston. So he's also been pretty sharp this year.
New York sharp at the start today, 25 for 25 passing to score their first 4 goals. Solomon Ruschmeyer-Bailey, you can hear the sideline shouting, not a shooter, because Ruschmeyer-Bailey does not huck it very often.
I think he's 1 for 1 this season on hucks.
Jack Williams. Atkins coming underneath. To Cowan. Isaac Lee trying to stay with Desmarais, but Alex Davis gets free on Leitner. Davis, his first year with the Empire and his first assist here in the playoffs. Second goal. Make it the third goal for Jack Williams.
And how about Alex Davis jumping right in with the offense? We weren't even sure he was going to go today. Maybe the final lineup decision to be made for the Empire, but he's in his 8th game of the season after posting 13 goals and 5 assists across 7 games. So it's his 5th year in the UFA. It's not his first time around, but is making an impact right away.
Third member of our broadcast team today down on the sidelines. Delighted to welcome in Dan Hilton with more on Jack Williams.
Hey, Evan. Yeah, so throughout this season, with the trainer Ryan Anderson, Jack Williams, you know, Jack can always play coy. So throughout the year, I would ask him after every practice, every game, is this a hamstring thing? What are we dealing with? And it was the hamstrings. But again, with Jack playing coy, it was always, yeah, I'm all right. And if Jack says I'm all right, it means, yeah, I've got a little bit of something. But right now, I've been told by Ryan Anderson, I was told by Jack Williams as of last week, he is, for the first time this season, 100%. And certainly he looks it with those 3 goals early.
That's good news for the Empire. Right time of year to get healthy. AJ Merriman suffered a broken ankle injury in the game at Toronto, but only missed a few games after that. Was one of the key guys on the sideline all season long, whether he was playing or not. Very important leader for this DC team. And he'll catch the under here from Boxley. Guarded by the New Zealand import, Nick Whitlock. And John Randolph gets his first block of the day. Remarkable handler defense from Randolph over and over again. Gets the better of Jacques Nissen there, but Boxley earns possession back, smacking it away. Whitlock was arguing for a call. Nissen sends him deep, and Boxley is shy of the goal line. Boxley says, and 1. Not going to get the foul call, but they do get the score. Boxley to Roy. That was the Empire's first turnover of the game. Whitlock still chirping a little bit. They do have a friendly high five. Keith, what do you think?
The and 1 is a real thing now. So maybe he could have actually been asking for the call. But another pass that floated. Just check that off. Just keep an eye on that, because that was not intended to be up there for Boxley in that way, especially against an aerial threat like Whitlock. But just go ahead and make the seatbelt symbol. Absolute straps from Randolph on his college teammate Jacques Nissen. And Box doing a nice job sealing and attacking the disc to make sure the bigger defender can't get to it.
All right, here comes New York. DC with a dirty hold, back within 1.
Randolph looked off a deep shot in transition on that last possession. I wonder if he's going to want that back.
Cowan working with LeBar in the backfield. No Braden Eberhard for the Empire today. He was a very steady reset presence for this New York O-line this year.
Don DeMarais drawing 2 defenders. The help from Vandenbrink. Nice job by the Empire to gain a few yards out of it.
Pretty good defense by Michael Wagner downfield on DeMarais for much of this possession. You can play a lot of good downfield defense and still not create a turnover.
Yeah, you want to know what the Breeze coaches think of Wagner. He's guarded Alex Atkins and Don DeMarais so far.
Atkins elevates near the sideline. Blades it to the back of the end zone, over Blumenfeld for Benyat. That's the type of throw that needs to be perfect, and Atkins had the perfect edge, and he's just a kid at a candy store when he comes to an Ultimate Frisbee game. He loves playing this sport.
Yeah, until he gets a few too many Pop Rocks. Starts going crazy. I mean, a great throw from Atkins, though. And Blumenfeld, I mean, I want to see the replay because it felt like he might have scraped a few molecules off this disc. So close. But just another goal for Benyat, who's got a goal and an assist, and I think is a central figure for this offensive line. I mean, we've seen him and Jack Williams with reduced overall totals as they've deferred to letting Atkins and LeBar distribute more of that offensive volume, but every bit the player who could take over when necessary.
DC's defense did slow New York down more than any other possession. It took them a full 81 seconds to score that last point. Wodat shoots it. Is it gonna float long enough for Grovic? No. And the Breeze O-line second giveaway sets up another Empire break chance. Oliver Chartok shoots, and it's a dime. And the Empire score again. Bobby Elston hauls in the deep shot. Quick dish for Oliver Fay, and a 7-4 Empire lead.
Very similar opportunity to go deep for New York off this turn. Wodat's not someone who sends a lot of deep shots, but Grovic's a tempting target. Almost a little surprised he didn't try to get off his feet for that one. And then beating Andrew Roy in transition deep, that's the exact same look that Randolph looked off last time and ended up giving the disc back and getting a quick DC hold for his trouble. This time New York takes the shot, and now they've got a 3-goal lead.
Empire 2 of 3 on break chances here early. This pull is Soren out of bounds, so Nissen will take it from 20 yards in front of the end zone. It's Nissen along with Isaac Lee, AJ Merriman, Christian Boxley. Viva Vandenbrink gets an 0 point after the break. Grovic and Wodatch both stay out there. Davis right next to Boxley as he makes the catch, and we have contact downfield against the Empire. Boxley resets. Very tight windows now on some of these throws. Vandenbrink, the import from the Netherlands. One of the things that both these teams have done well, Keith, through the years is bringing in some international impact difference makers. Isaac Lee in the end zone denied. Axel Agami Contreras there for the block.
He's having a strong start to this one on this Empire defense. One of their top handler covers.
Timeout, New York. Stall count was rising. Matt Stevens makes the call, one of the co-head coaches of this Empire team. Officially 43 seconds on the clock here for the Empire, and this is danger territory for the Breeze. We know this can be a game of runs, Keith, but fall behind by 4, That's a substantial margin in the opening quarter, especially with how good New York's offense has been at just taking care of the disc.
Nice block from Axel, who usually is making plays in the handler space, but here able to get up downfield. Ambitious look from Merriman, and it's just been hard for throwers to have the disc drop down at the right rate and not hang in the air on these deep throws, especially going in this direction.
Atkins floats it for Yacht. Met by Vandenbrink, and he has an errant throw. Yacht throws it away, just his third throwaway of the entire season, his first in months. Xavier Maxtad's thinking about a timeout. Stride for stride with official Mia Greiner on the sideline.
I think that was the first touch of the season for Cole Jurek.
And we get a timeout call with 14 seconds on the clock. So the official stadium scoreboard stopped with 14.2. And this is huge. I mean, the difference between that 8-4 versus 7-5, it feels monumental.
This is not a scenario you tend to get a lot of reps in over the course of the season. But
what are you expecting from Cole Jurek in this game, Keith? I mean, he's a guy that can be a difference maker when healthy, but we haven't seen him all season.
And neither have his teammates. They've maybe got some practice reps with him, but not able to build the chemistry. Someone who usually is a feature of the offense for DC, but without that time, they have him coming out and playing with a defensive line. But this is someone who's never had fewer than 2,500 yards in a season here in the UFA. So, you know, someone he's played 8 career playoff games. He's a seasoned player who tends to make a big impact. But it's tough to hit the ground running. So we'll see how he adapts.
All right, they added a second. 15 seconds on the clock. Nissen initiates to Mott. It's interesting, DC didn't show their formation until right before the disc was going to be initiated. Grovic with an impossible hammer. It goes over Wodach. 2 seconds. The scoreboard stopped the clock. They shouldn't have. And Whitlock's throw is going to go way out of bounds. So that's how the quarter's going to end. The disc stayed in bounds in the back of the end zone, so the clock should keep rolling. Alas, neither team scores on this 2+ minute point to close out a good first quarter for the hometown team here in New York. They get 2 breaks, and they take a 7-4 lead. Both these teams battling for the right to face Boston 2 weeks from today. Welcome back to Focina Field here in New Rochelle. Opener of the East Division playoffs 2026. New York a 7-4 lead. Let's talk keys to the game for both teams, Keith Rayner. They are presented by Victory.
Yeah, for this DC team, I think it's important for them to, for this New York team, we really want to see their D-line tightening up. This is a team that had a really good year in that metric, but against DC, it goes from about 70% against the rest of the league to 57, 56% against DC. That group has got to be efficient. We've seen some mixed results in the first quarter. For DC, they got to be the grittier side. The fact is they're up against a super talented Empire team. Their best bet is going to be to make these points slow, come up with some big plays, whether they be second effort catches, some really tough blocks or plays. They're going to need to be the grittier side if they want to come away with a win against this star-filled New York squad.
Noteworthy numbers from the first quarter. Empire with just 2 turnovers, DC with 5. AJ Merriman with 2 of those turnovers. Miles Grovic with 2. Jeff Odach had the 1. Mott forced to curl it around, and that was the defensive pressure from Oliver Fay that made that a more difficult throw. He doesn't get credit for a block, but he helps create the throwaway. Empire 2 of 4 on break chances in the first.
Chance to see if that D-line can be better, and not better than Christian Boxley.
That's the second block for Box. So DC's O-line has shown the ability to get the disc back. They've been a little too loose with it as well, especially when you consider that the DC D-line has not had a break chance yet. First things first, holding to start this second period and get within 2. Boxley squeezes it through for Mott. Merriman not in yet. And downfield, we got a pick against the breeze, so that'll force the DC attack to halt and retreat 10 yards.
Boxley moving to the top of the stack where he's so dangerous. Look at how much coverage he draws.
New York trying to induce one of these cross-field throws, and this one works barely. Wodach hauls it in with Elston closing in fast.
Not the type of risk I think the coaching staff's gonna want to see the offense take in the red zone, but they'll be glad to have the goal. And certainly after the early mistake, Christian Boxley earning it back. You mentioned his second block of this game. Those are his first 2 blocks in his 7 playoff games.
That's so surprising.
The error from Mott, who's had a very interesting up and down season with DC, has kind of changed over his role. Usually known for being a gunslinger, a risk taker on the field, and maybe that was a little too much for DC. He started out the year, 7 of 11 for Hucks in his first 6 games. That's gone down to 1 for 3. They're dialing it back for him. A lot more completions, a lot less big downfield throws.
And yet the first thing Xavier Maxtad said when we talked about Mott, he said he's opened up our offense a little bit, and we needed that. He thought they were a little too conservative. They were dead last in the league in Hucks last year. This league, they were 16th, I believe, out of 22 teams, averaging 2 full Hucks more per game this year than last year.
Well, that may not be by design, and maybe other teams are forcing those errors.
Over Dante Murray, it's an error from the Empire, and the first break chance here for the Breeze. Xavier Maxtad said before the game that he likes to try and punish the other team's O-line by forcing him to defend. Bold throw from Isaac Lee, and it's smacked down by Jacob Cowan. Bold may not be the right word to describe it, Keith.
Lee puts his hand up, and he'll accept that. Dante Murray's free deep.
He's going to go short with a scuba for Yacht. Neither side exactly capitalizing on their opportunities. New York now 2 for 5. DC 0 for 1 on the break chances. Here's LeBar. Dante Murray, grateful to get another chance in the playoffs. Season cut short in shocking fashion last year in Chicago after they went undefeated in the regular season, but fell to Minnesota in the Central Division final.
I matched up with Aiden Downey, a name we haven't really said much about. And his second game back with DC.
And only played 8 points. That throw is sinking fast, but Dante Murray accelerates and gets there. And then throws the quick assist to Atkins.
I'm not sure there's another player in the UFA that you would rather have finishing a play like that with the defense closing in. I don't know what exercise, what measurement you would use to capture Dante Murray's quickness, but there might not be a better accelerator that you're going to find. Nothing he can do with that. The second time that the Empire have turned it over trying to target Dante Murray, but this throw gave the offense no hope.
In the ultimate world right now, there's a common refrain that Dante Murray is one of, if not the best players in the world. Where do you stand on that, Keith, and what makes him as good as he is, in your opinion?
I think he's got to be the person with the crown right now. I think there's a number of good contenders for that spot, but Dante Murray is playing at such an elite level.
Nissen looking long for Boxley, and it floats nicely. Boxley uses body to shield Davis. That throw to the end zone will work. Shapinski, a couple early goals, now gets the assist to Merriman. One of the quicker goals of the day for AJ and the Breeze.
Players have been struggling hucking in this direction, but not Jock Nissen. That one is right out of the textbook, but you can still see it hanging at the end. We have seen that a lot, and then Shapinski snaps off the quick release. Gets Whitlock. You might have to be careful with a throw like that, but it's well executed enough for AJ Merriman to track it down. But to go back to your point about Dante Murray, I mean, it really is that he is just a both incredibly explosive athlete and then a tireless, high work rate athlete. You can play him both ways. He can outlast his opponent. He can burst past nearly anybody. It's pretty hard for anybody to stay in front of him because of how quick and agile he is. And it's just a tireless effort. Teams have to rotate defenders because nobody can keep up with him for more than a few reps at a time.
Here comes Dante Murray underneath. I asked Don before the game, why are there 2 A's in your name? And he said, because it's Flemish. And I'm like, I'm glad I asked, and I hope you're not offended, and I appreciate you sharing. 2 A's in Flemish is that ah sound. I mean, he is relentlessly energetic, never seems to get tired on the field. Speed, skilled, composed. And look, he's played for a lot of different teams around the world. There's an effortlessness with the way he goes about his business on the field, where he just seemingly integrates, assimilates into a system as if he's played there forever. An incredible ultimate IQ. And he's talked to me about, he is kind of an ultimate junkie. He loves to just sit around and watch games.
I can't say I've spent a lot of time with him myself, but it does give off the vibe that like he's about the work. He's here to be good at ultimate.
No doubt. On a mission, much like his countryman Toba DeCrana. They're competing for the same prize. Dante Murray to Cowan. New York back up by 3. If we do get New York and Boston in 2 weeks, that's one of the fantastic subplots of that game. Obviously, Toba and Boston, the reigning champs. Toba, the reigning MVP, has had another MVP caliber season. But I'm not sure he wins the MVP if Boston doesn't get back to championship weekend.
Toba and Don, the dual Belgian takeover here of North American Ultimate, and come from essentially rival clubs. They're about the same age. So they're obviously deeply familiar with each other from playing together and against one another, but it's quite an oddity to have two players of this caliber come up at the same time from roughly the same part of the world, but have come up in sort of parallel to one another.
Don from Leuven playing with the Mooncatchers. Toba from Ghent playing with Gentle, and this is going to find Wodach. That could and perhaps should have been DC's 8th turnover. And there it is, the 8th turnover a couple throws later. Randolph unable to milk it all the way to the end zone, used his body and throws the assist. Nissen saying that Randolph came into me and picked me, prevented me from chasing Charlie Panarella, and I think he's got a case.
I mean, that's clearly what John was trying to do, right? JR came over and said, you're not getting around me. I'm going to seal you off here. And I feel like maybe there's a case that is a pick. JR not afraid to explore the different elements of physicality as it pertains to the rules in Ultimate. But another takeaway against Jacques Nissen for JR. That one sneaking over, and that's kind of second effort grab is the kind of gritty play we're looking for, but then just a free giveaway in the reset space. Those are going to be costly.
Third break for New York. Pull mishandled on the receive by DC, so they've got a long way to go. And Antoine Davis gets in the passing lane to deny Boxley. Second block for Davis.
I think he's been the most successful defender individually against Boxley for this Empire team.
Brownlee's throw bobbled but caught. Axel Agami Contreras hangs on and then hits Nick Whitlock. Another New York break and a 5-goal first half lead for the Empire.
Empire D-line offense taking control of this game. They're generating blocks. They're getting mistakes from DC, and this is the danger zone from DC. This is where you teeter on falling apart. Offense is going out there over and over again. They're making mistakes. And all the momentum on New York's side. They're the home team. They're the favorite. And right now, they've got a sizable lead, nearly doubling up the breeze.
We've got Dan Hilton down on the sideline. Dan, what's it like down there? What are you hearing?
Night and day, actually, from the first matchup in New York. The trash talk is much more playoff focused, as in they're sticking with their own sidelines. There's a little bit of chatter, but you feel like as far as the talking, there's a lot more to go. But again, it just feels like that playoff atmosphere, a bit more tension and individual conversations, whether it's Don Demray and Royce Bailey or just D-line players on both sides. Again, it's not chatter between the teams like we've seen in the previous two matchups. It's a lot of what do we need to work on, and it just feels, Evan and Keith, like, yes, the playoff atmosphere means that there's less chatter, there's less intensity, and a little more soul-searching and focus within for both these teams right now.
Looks like Theo Shapinski is pleading with Sam Jonas for an integrity call, and he's going to get it. Initially, Blake Grundy, the head referee, was signaling incomplete, but DC will keep the disc.
And I think Shapinski almost picked it up like he thought he got to decide it was a foul. And New York was like, well, he can't pick it up. It's our disc.
Norbaum continues for Nissen. Here's Shapinski again. Norbaum continues. Vandenbrink hauled in by Jurek. First score of the season for the guy known as Beef. Hopefully something of a stabilizing score for the Breeze.
They're coming out in relief of the typical O-line. Jurek able to come down with a score, but that was a hard-fought one for DC. As they continue to struggle with controlling their throws in the Breeze down there. And it's deceptive. When we were on field level, it really doesn't feel that windy, but as soon as the disc seems to get above head height,
yeah,
it starts taking off on you. So you have to be very careful as a thrower really disciplined with the type of throws and the type of shape of release that you're using.
It is about 10 degrees warmer here, maybe more, than it was in North Carolina last night, which is rare for the geography.
Are you sure that wasn't the Flyers just heating the place up, because they cooked San Diego?
They sure did. They look really strong, unbroken for the final 3 quarters. And then they go to Austin. That'll be Friday, August 7th, to determine the South Division champion. Atkins just throws up a trust ball. Merriman versus Yacht, grappling for position. And then it's Dande Marais. And the foul hauls it in, it looked like. Don plays through the contact against his fellow European Wiebe Vandenbrink, and now gets the call.
Isaac Lee may have inadvertently pushed Don into catching that disc.
That's well said, Keith. Desmarais gets his mark on the ground and then throws it away. It's Grovic on the reset, denying Atkins.
Grovic and Merriman crossing over. This is something that DC does pretty frequently, and it was a question of how often they would get to do that in this game and bring guys over from offense to the D-line.
This is just the second break chance of the game for the Breeze. Xavier Maxstad walking on the sideline near the official, but Merriman wants it all. Grovic chased by LeBar, and LeBar with an insane block. Oh, but the sideline referee, Greiner, calls interference. There was certainly a little contact. Now LeBar's begging for integrity. Grovic's like, no, you hit me, and he's ready to initiate.
Grovic asked for it from the ref, so I don't think he's giving it up now.
Grovic throws it up. Yacht gets a piece. No foul there. Empire get the goal line stand anyway. LeBar and Grovic are still chirping back and forth.
Grovic, I think, trying to offer a little clarification on why he felt like he got fouled. But both players are... This game has not, despite the amount of conversation, has not reached the chippiness that we saw in some of their earlier contests. Meaning the fourth quarter and overtime of the game in New York over in Mount Vernon, that one got spicy. Players were frustrated.
Before the replay, Keith, watching it live, that bid by LeBar, what'd you think?
It looked clean to me, but I don't have the perspective that on that angle, really, this was the more physical battle.
And you're right, Lee kind of pumped on to right where the disc was settling.
Grovic gets the block and gets behind the defense. This is what you want, and that's clean. I think LeBar has a pretty strong case that he was able to get to that without any illegal contact, but Grovic making the mistake afterwards of, again, floating that disc up.
Look, in the press box that you and I are sitting in, we got the windows open, we're up high, we're feeling a big gust of wind. Deep shot for Jack Williams, off to restart, and Jack delivers in the playoffs. What else is new? Yacht, holsters, wisely, now resets for Cowan.
Cowan looking off a chance to recenter the disc back to Yacht, but has a free one with Atkins anyway.
Atkins to Davis, Dante Marais took the timeout, Empire reset, and then New York goes the full 80 yards and holds with $1:21 remaining in this first half. Chance for DC to get within 3, instead it's back to 5.
And one of the keys to the game I had for DC was about utilizing these crossover players, and Merriman and Grovic come over, Grovic gets the block, Merriman and Grovic connect for a deep shot to set up a score, and they can't complete the red zone rep. And now you've got offensive guys out there having to grind it out instead of giving you quick scores, which is exactly what you want. Instead, you're getting the opposite effect. Now your O-line gets a little more gassed.
Second assist for Alex Davis. Dande Marais, despite one hiccup, has 331 total yards in this first half. That's second in the game. Only Atkins has more. Still a whole half to play, plus 1 minute, but it feels like the Breeze could really use something good to happen here. Shapinski over to Mott. Final minute in the opening half.
DC in an odd position because you want to get a fluid score, you want to build some momentum, but you don't want to give New York too much time.
Shapinski with a big swing, floating near the sideline. Wodach has time and space to secure it. Yeah, if you're DC, you'd love to score with 3 seconds left or less, but you also need to score.
Yeah, at this point, you're just trying to get the goal.
They're going to call a foul on Whitlock here, saying he caught the disc after Boxley did. And now Boxley's going to use integrity and overturn it, as long as they keep him with possession, I'm sure. Floats it to Nissen. 15 seconds. Mott with 10. Nissen with 8. Boxley scores with 6 seconds left.
Well executed by DC. And perhaps after John Randolph has gotten 2 reset blocks on Nissen, Breeze may be making an adjustment as they went after Randolph with throws to space over his head to the wide part of the field to Nissen. And Jock able to finish that off. DC unable to score in their previous end of quarter opportunity, so that's another point they left on the table, but this time able to claim that much needed goal because the deficit getting any larger here and you start to feel like it's getting out of reach. A New York Hail Mary score here would be absolutely devastating.
New York has Whitlock, Williams, Atkins, Ruschmeyer, Bailey, Yacht, Cowan, and Desmarais.
Coach Anthony Nunez said Whitlock is the best special teamer in the league. Atkins
launching, Merriman intercepts, launches the other way, but time expired before he unleashed. That's the end of the first half in this first round game in the East Division playoffs. The Breeze 0 for 2 on break chances. The Empire 4 of 7. And Don Desmarais and the rest of the Empire have the 4-goal lead at halftime. Christian Boxley, a game best +5, but Jack Williams typically shows up in the playoffs. 3 goals, over 200 yards for playoff Jack. Going up with a left hand a couple of occasions. New York 24 minutes away from earning another trip to the East Division Championship game. Welcome back to Focina Field, everybody. New York leads DC 12-8 at the half. Delighted to be joined by co-head coach of the Empire, Anthony Nunez. Appreciate you joining us, Nunez. Curious to ask you your thoughts on that first half. How well did you guys implement your game plan and act upon it?
Yeah, I mean, we left a couple on the table that I'm not too happy about. But other than that, we've been executing our game plan perfectly. We're trying to keep them off balance and try to get the disc into hands of people that we think are going to give us the disc back, and that's been happening. Yeah, I can't be completely upset with it with the lead.
How do you feel like the wind is affecting this game, and how are the Empire trying to adapt to the situation?
I don't think that the wind is really like we've all played in windier conditions, both DC and New York, and against each other in windier conditions. You know, we're both teams are very good at just ignoring the fact that there is any kind of a breeze, so to speak.
You've played a lot of games against the breeze. You've coached a lot of games against the breeze, regular season and playoffs. How does it feel different going against this team in the playoffs, knowing that it's one and done?
Yeah, I mean, it's do or not, right? And we're gonna go home if we don't win. So it's always different in the playoffs, and we love playing against the breeze in the playoffs because it's going to be a battle, it's going to be a fun game, and we know that they're going to give us their best game, and we're going to give them ours.
What is it with Jack in the playoffs?
You know, if this was NBA 2K, I would say that Ice in the Veins badge that Jack has makes it kind of a fun experience, but it's also one of those things where Jack just knows when to turn it up and when to bring it out and when to do it.
All right, great stuff. Nunez, appreciate the time. I'll let you get back to your team. Thank you.
Thanks, all.
Anthony Nunez came to the Empire at the start of the 2021 season. This is his 6th year as either the coach or co-coach. Pretty strong first half. 5 turns, 12 goals for New York. Not perfect, as Nunez certainly mentioned, Keith, but a strong opening half, both offensively and defensively.
And interesting to me, this New York team actually tends to get fewer blocks when they play against DC. They're averaging 7 a game per the 2 matchups. They already have 7 blocks in this first half. This defense is not only executing the game plan, but they are capitalizing on it. Gives you a much better chance to attack in transition when you're able to get a hand on the disc. They're putting a lot of pressure on this DC offense, either whether it's the D-line offense or the O-line offense.
And look, the Breeze have shot themselves in the foot with several of the choices that they've made. They're just 2 for 5 on their hucks. They have 2 additional turnovers in the red zone. And ironically, the Breeze has flummoxed the Breeze a couple of times.
And they've got to get away, I think, from swinging from this near sideline into the middle of the field when there's a defender on, because that has given them a lot of trouble. They've got to find a way to keep pushing the disc either further downfield. Maybe they need to be more aggressive with these deep shots, try and create some more separation, because these backfield turns are just so advantageous for the Empire D-line out.
Well, one of the huck turnovers, Antoine Davis getting the block, one of his 2 first-half blocks. And the Empire have had some really perfect deep shots. Elston DeFay for that break. Another block for Axel Agami Contreras. Christian Boxley has been a reliable cutter, but Antoine has also gotten the better of him a couple of times.
Yeah, Box is a key factor. You know, we highlighted Box and Don Desmarais coming into this game, and it definitely feels like Don Desmarais is having a better run of play here in the first half.
This is the type of throw from Atkins. It just looks like a game of 500, but instead it's a 60-yard completion for perhaps the 2026 MVP. We will see. Just a few minutes away from the start of the second half. New York leads DC 12-8. It is win or go home in the 2026 playoffs. Moments away from the start of the second half with New York leading DC 12-8. Delighted to be joined by the head coach of the Breeze, Xavier Maxstad. X, thanks for joining us and thanks for waiting. Not an ideal first half for DC. How do you feel about the way your team attacked those first couple quarters?
Yeah, I think overall pretty solid, but we definitely need to step up the intensity a little bit. We've been in the spot a lot this season and found ways to win games previously throughout the year. And so, yeah, we just got to keep pushing through. We got to get that first break, and then they're going to start coming after that.
Well, the offense not having the most efficient first half, how do you dial it in for this O-line in the second half?
Yeah, it's just continuing to be ourselves, play our game, move the ball quickly, and not overthink things too much.
How do you feel the wind has impacted the game and some of the deep shots y'all have taken?
I think it's had a little bit of an impact. It's not super windy, but it is a little bit gusty here and there, and that's just causing the end of Hucks to do a little bit of extra movement. So I think it's going to create a little bit of excitement in the second half, but I don't think it's too much of a factor overall.
With this deficit going into the second half, how does it change what you expect to do with your rotations?
Yeah, we're going to keep with the rotations for the most part. We'll probably tighten it up just as things kind of come down to the wire, but we're going to have to play it situation by situation.
Thanks so much for the perspective, X. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Xavier Maxstad has done a great job in his first year as the head coach, replacing Lauren Boyle. Look at this stat. Turnovers per game leader. It has been a really solid metric for determining greatness. And of course, New York with the best turnovers per game mark in the history of the UFA in the regular season. Of course, you don't always win with the fewest turnovers per game.
Yeah, but it certainly helps to not give the disc away, and for a team that you could certainly imagine another version where they're just like, hey, you know, we've got Don Emery, Alex Atkins, Ben Yacht, Jack Williams, like let's start slinging this thing around. That has not been the style of play. They've been really clean for much of the season, to the tune of being the most efficient offense basically in league history. I'd say that's going to give you a pretty good leg up in a title chase.
Keith, who's your step-up guy for the Breeze here in the second half? Who needs to do something special in your mind if DC is going to find their way back?
I think it's probably one of the crossover guys, Grovicker or Merriman, because their offense playing better just isn't enough. It's not enough for them to say, okay, you know, hey, Box is playing really well, or Jacques Nissen is really had a fantastic second half. They're going to need someone who can key the defense. So they've got to have somebody out there who can generate pressure and help convert break opportunities, because they're not going to be able to sub in the O-line for every break for the rest of this game.
Callahan winner from a couple years ago, Aiden Downey launches the pull. And New York almost with a miscommunication error on the first throw of the second half. Atkins wasn't expecting to be led with that pass, but he did have time to adjust. Atkins, Rushmeyer, Bailey, Williams, Desmarais, Labar, Cowan, and Yacht. This has been the most consistent group of 7 down the stretch for New York. You familiar with the ice in his veins badge on 2K?
2K, you're talking my language when you're starting to talk 2K. Don't get me started.
Cowan shoots it. Atkins with Desmarais cleaning up the trash, but Atkins was fouled, and he's ruled out of bounds, but it's a foul to give New York the disc on the front of the goal line. So Atkins, chance to dish the assist, which he does. Matt Labar is in. Just the second assist for Kins. Empire back up by 5.
And another LeBron celebration for the Philly boy, who's maybe Evan's just a Celtics fan and doesn't want to acknowledge that LeBron James is on the Philadelphia 76ers, but
I have complicated feelings about it, Keith.
Well, you got the Philly connection out here with Atkins to Lamar. I will say, for as clean on the stat sheet as the Empire offense has been,
yeah,
it's not quite that clean on the tape. They've gotten away with a couple.
A little bit like the Flyers last night.
Turnover-worthy throws.
Roy with a gainer to Grovic. Downfield to Boxley. Jonas flies through, couldn't get there against Shapinski. Boxley reels it in just shy of the end zone.
Curious thing, an O point for DC with no Jacques Nissen.
We've got 8 players that they'll rotate pretty consistently. And Wodach is in the end zone. They do have a different look and shape without Jacques on the field, that's for sure.
Well, it certainly helps to have Theo Shapinski jumping in. You know, we talked about the personnel that's not playing with this O-line this year. No Thomas Edmonds, no Cole Jurek, no Tyler Monroe. Some new faces jumping in. And some have been very impactful in helping this DC team, who I think felt a little written off coming into the season. You know, they weren't really, I think, considered a team that could compete in the East necessarily, that they were going to have to play second fiddle to the Boston and New York rivalry, but they've gone on and gotten the wins to put them into that conversation.
Keith, for Jeff Wodach, that was his second score of the day. That moves him into the top 30 in the history of the league. He's currently tied with Jonathan Nethercutt and Misha Freistadter on the all-time UFA scoring chart. That disc was low, and it's ruled down. Yacht tried to play it up, but Daniel Wong, the trail ref, said it's down. So here comes the Breeze's third break chance.
I also believe Jeff Wodach recently got married. So.
He did.
Congratulations to Jeff.
Yes, indeed. Just because he got married, though, I don't know if he's going to stop. He told me earlier this year he wants to keep playing as long as he can.
So he's Mr. Veteran Jeff Wodach.
That's
now.
right. He'll be 40 next winter. But I would not be surprised if he's still scoring goals next season. Breeze might need a timeout. Maxtad calls for it. And they do get the timeout call. That would have been a disastrous stall right in front of the sideline, but they burned the timeout, the first of their 2 second-half timeouts. 9 minutes and change left in the third. Was this up or down? Yeah,
down.
Referee got it
Clear
right.
down. Do you think that down on the field, is that one of those situations where Maxtad just like, hey, if we're about to get stalled, I'm taking a timeout, so just go ahead and cue me up for it.
How surprised are you that DC went 9-3 this season? The tough schedule they had, some of the players that they lost. I mean, Xavier Maxtad was talking with us about the idea that in the preseason they heard a lot of people doubting DC.
It's interesting because I would say on just its face, if you zoom out, it's not that surprising because of how good this team has been.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent here, but when you zoom in and you look at how they got those wins, all the players that have missed time due to injury, the players shuffling in and out of the lineup, new young players stepping up, it's impressive that they managed to do what they did despite those constraints.
Talking with Breeze owner Ty Simpson before the game, he said he's getting congratulations on 10 consecutive years in the playoffs, and it's kind of a backhanded compliment. He's like, that's not enough anymore. We need to think bigger than just making the playoffs. But there's been a lot of years when people have felt DC's been the second or third best team in the league, and yet they've never won a game at championship weekend. Only got to the Final Four one time, and a mistake here out of the timeout. Miscommunication between Grovic and Nissen.
And another red zone error for DC. They just can't afford these types of mistakes anymore.
Their 4th red zone giveaway. Well, Matt Stevens trusts his D-line. Whitlock, hammer, looking for Agami Contreras, and he's got him! The New Zealand hammer from Nick Whitlock. Dropping it in with perfection.
Whitlock never afraid to go to the hammer, and a smart throw choice from that situation because he had some traffic in front of him on the forehand side, and if he steps out to try and throw the forehand, as we see the just miscommunication between Grovic and Nissen, he thought Nissen would stay there. Nissen was trying to go back to the middle. But this throw avoids the hanging problem that we've seen from these IO forehands that players have been trying to throw from this sideline, where it just sits up for a long time. Here you get to put that edge over the top of the disc and push it back down at the end of its flight if you can keep it sharp enough. And big guy like Whitlock certainly can get the power necessary to bring that disc back down.
Talking with Nunez about Whitlock earlier this week, he said, I wasn't totally sold on Whitlock when we signed him, but as the season has gone on, as you said, he's the best special teams player in the league. The combination of his pulls, if he's on defense at the last second, his size, he's gotten both blocks and goals at the buzzer this season. He's been a huge difference maker. Candidate for Rookie of the Year.
There's a little bit of the outlines of Alex Atkins' tool set with him.
No doubt. Not quite as loud as Atkins.
Is anybody?
No, that's a great point. Sean Mott downfield for Theo Shapinski. He's got Merriman going. Theo's not really the hucker in the Breeze O-line unit. To Boxley. Mott could use an around. Brownlee tries to cut that angle off.
This type of position has been a source of turnovers for New York's defense.
Oh, Yacht playing a point on D, nearly gets the block on Shapinski.
I think he might have caught a piece of Shapinski on the follow-through.
AJ. Discs on the ground, but he will get the call. Merriman fouled by Yacht. And Yacht with an issue with his cleat. He's going to ask for a sub.
AJ taking that one like a free throw. I know I'm getting fouled, so I might as well try and get it there.
Whitlock replaces Yacht. DC 9 of 13 in red zone situations so far in this game. As you see the clear foul on Yacht. Grovic comes in for the Breeze and the 1-for-1 sub replacing Aroy. Whoa. Whitlock all smiles as he pops back up. Merriman to Boxley. How do you stop that?
There's not really a good way to contain it as in a one-on-one like that, or a two-on-two as it were. And that's part of the power of Christian Boxley, especially in the red zone. But like we said, it's not impinging on this DC offense to change this game. It's going to be, can their defense generate opportunities to score, and can they take advantage? The offense really just needs to get on and off the field as quick as possible so their defense gets as many shots as they can at turning this game around.
Yeah, 4 straight holds to start this third quarter. And on one hand, if you're the Breeze, you're hanging around. But at some point, you got to make something happen with your D-line. They're 0 for 3 on break chances, 0 for 1 here in this quarter. Atkins catches the pull on the fly, centers for Rushmeyer Bailey. Grovic out there on D, badgering Atkins on the mark. Inside for Williams.
Great sit-down cut from Williams.
What do you mean by a sit-down cut?
Driving into a space, his defender overcommits to try and cut him off, and he just plants where he is and says, I'm going to make the defense come to me. I've created this window, this separation. I don't need to keep running to get open anymore.
10 free yards after the Wagner foul on LeBar. Nice throw, good touch to SRB. And the swing to Atkins. Shooting it for Cowan. Merriman giving chase, or excuse me. Yeah, it's Merriman, but nothing he can do. And another good finish for the Empire. They lead by 5 scores yet again.
And that's why Don Desmarais is the best player in the world. Another beautifully thrown deep shot from New York, who continues to hit on every deep throw. Some of it's been a mixed bag, especially from Kins, but the results, you can't argue it. 6 for 6.
And Desmarais catching the short 2-yard. That's what makes him so good.
It really is.
15 goals, just 6 turnovers for New York. 6 of those scores from Desmarais. Make it 7 now, actually. 4 assists, 3 goals for Don. Nissen cross field, plenty of space for Boxley. Here's Wodash. Norbaum. Nissen. Grovic to Shapinski. Jonas was hunting, but came up empty.
Like we said, Breeze got to get on and off the field on offense. Just trying to create as many opportunities for your D-line as possible. But it's nice also because it keeps the O-line fresh, making it easier for them to cross over.
Dan Hilton on the sideline. What are you seeing, Dan?
Well, Keith, I'm surprised that you're not on the DC Breeze sideline. Very similar thoughts coming from the coaching staff, as well as some of the vocal leaders like Andrew Roy, talking about, A, we need a lot of fresh bodies, a lot of legs. Of course, if they're going to come back into the game, it's going to be through a lot of energy. What's pushing against that is what you guys have been talking throughout the broadcast, that DC is not fully healthy. It is very much almost a point-by-point, who is going to give us 110% of effort and energy. They have a number of line permutations, and they're trying to go through all of them to figure out offensively what works. Because offensively, they're saying if we are not working in the middle of that field and settling for the sideline throws, then we're not doing our job, and it should be somebody else out there.
They got a lot of different buttons they can push, but they're running out of time to find the right combination defensively.
And it feels like watching the Breeze that they're at their best when those young guys are making a couple plays, going out and getting a block, and they just haven't gotten that today.
Jurek layout comes up empty.
Wagner's probably been their best of the young players, but he hasn't been able to get a block yet.
Back of the end zone, greatest attempt! Alex Davis kept it in! Don Desmarais has the goal, but Alex Davis with the greatest for the Empire. Are you kidding me?
And look at the Sally. You're telling me they weren't going to put this guy in the lineup? Come on.
That's pumping.
Unreal.
Casual.
You're right, Kins. It was a little casual on the throw from Cowan. Davis, that's a perfect greatest.
AD's always had some flair to his game, but always functional too.
That's a lot of trust, bro. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Damn, y'all, these things are tough.
He got some hang time too.
Long time Carolina Flyer. Alex Davis, a champ in 2021 with Carolina. Getting the better of New York in that final.
If we're talking 2K badges, there's one for catching alley-oops called Aerial Wizard, and I guess AD's got it.
You're a dad, Keith. How much time do you spend playing 2K these days?
I wasn't always a dad.
That's fair. Oh, New York by 5, doing special things in the playoffs. And look, we talk about it like it's inevitable that New York goes to the East Final, but the reality is they've been eliminated in this game each of the last 2 years. Last year it was DC that beat them. Nissen overshoots Grovic, and he's not getting a call this time. This is a huge stand for the Breeze O-line. Can they play D and stop this New York break chance?
That throw hanging and getting double covered.
That's going to float long enough for Jonas. Push pass for Randolph.
Deep shot for Agami Contreras. And Andrew Roy recovers and gets a piece of it. He was burned big, but then able to make the catch up and get just a fingertip on the disc. But DC gives it right back. Doesn't do anything with it. Nissen looking for a call on Randolph. No whistle forthcoming. 3 turns on the point. Almost number 4, but Brownlee plucks it out of midair.
Spider-Man move from Marquez Brownlee to get his hands on that one.
Offensive foul against Randolph. Two Brown University college champions, adversaries today. Looking for Brownlee, but A.J. Merriman there for the rip. He will easily intercept. 4th turn of the point. Here's Norbaum. Grovic has Boxley going. Holsters and resets. Mott. Continue Nissen. New York a couple of chances to go up 6. DC trying to claw back within 4 late in this 3rd quarter.
Impressed with New York's ability to slow down what could have been a real fast break for DC at a couple of different points where New York's help defense has denied DC and forced them to swing.
Merriman elevates. Back to Boxley. And after a 3-minute point, 2 break opportunities for New York unfulfilled, and DC stays within reach. They're down 4 with $1:18 to play in the 3rd.
I don't know how much solace it is to the DC defense that they failed to get a break out of those opportunities, but if you're going to force the other team to have 3 possession holds, I think they're going to be in a very comfortable position down the stretch of this game. Randolph into the power position, so this throw's got to go up. And I actually think Agami Contreras misreads this. You can see his last couple steps are going back towards the middle of the field. If he had been on that line earlier, he probably could have held Andrew Roy off. But by taking a couple steps in, gives Roy the chance to break up the play. Just been a bit of a sloppy game for DC's offense, and they have not been able to turn it into one the other way.
Empire center to Atkins. He's got Labar and Cowan behind him. Final minute of the 3rd. Most important thing for the Empire is just take care of the disc. But they don't! Alex Davis with a miscue. Chance for DC to get back within 3. Vanden Brink into the end zone, and that's the first Breeze break of the day. It's a 3-goal game. Late in the 3rd, Fred Farah coming off the best goal-scoring game in his UFA career. He caught 5 goals against Atlanta last week. And the DCD is on the board, Keith. The plot thickens here late in the 3rd period.
Farah also a part of the double team that helped force the turnover, so a bit of a bookends for the Maryland alum. And someone who I think DC has been kind of waiting to blossom, but has had to miss, has barely really gotten time on the field and missed much of this season. He's not played more than 3 games in any of his prior 4 seasons in the league. So set a career high with 5, and this is his 2nd playoff game, making an impact right when his team really needed one.
Now if you're the Breeze, you desperately want to get this stop. They'll be on offense to start the 4th. Under 30 seconds for New York. And to avoid a stall, Desmarais just shoots it. He's got Atkins in the deep space, and he rips it down athletically against Jurek. Injured Breeze player way back behind the disc near where the throw went off. Marcus Lee is down for DC. Marcus Lee right there grabbed his lower left leg as Atkins makes the elastic catch deep downfield. Obviously concerned about Marcus Lee, youngster out of William and Mary. But this is a huge sequence here with 20 seconds approximately remaining.
The DC is, I guess, had the better side of the end of quarter so far, scoring the late goal in the second quarter. Neither team able to score in the late waning moments of the first quarter. But it looks like the Empire are going to have a really strong opportunity to score after this situation's resolved.
Representatives from both teams out there checking on Marcus Lee. Only played one game this season before July, but played 3 games this month for the Breeze. And it says something about this guy that he has gotten the nod in a playoff game ahead of a lot of other really talented players on the Breeze roster, like Jasper Tom and Kobe Loveranis, Gabe Dowd.
It is his 10th game in the association.
The injured Breeze player, Marcus Lee, has sat up, but still concern over that lower left leg. Later tonight on WatchUFA.tv, Seattle hosting Salt Lake. The Cascades and Shred met twice during the regular season. Seattle won both games, each by a single goal. And then tomorrow night, Madison hosting Indy. Radicals won the first 3 meetings this year against the AlleyCats, but Indy, the last time they met, went to Breese Stevens Field and handed the Radicals their worst loss in franchise history. 2 weeks from now, 4 division championship games. Austin will host Carolina, who dispatched San Diego by 11 last night. Boston will host the winner of the East Final against either the Empire or the Breeze.
Is Austin even going to be the favorite in that game?
I think it's a toss-up. I really do. I don't think you can call the Soul the underdogs at home. I think it's basically a pick-em. Who you taking? I know you haven't seen the rosters and there's a lot of context, but who do you think? Sounds like if you're questioning if they're the favorite, you like the Flyers.
First blush, I got to take the Flyers, but...
Atkins laser, it's a strike, and Whitlock has it. Empire leave 12 seconds on the clock, but New York converts to reestablish the 4-score lead.
And Kids is doing a little dancey dance for us here after lasering in that blade, and a big score for the Empire. I know the momentum of the game slowed down a little bit, but to potentially carry this 4-goal advantage, stifle a DC team that's just got this first break, vital. And what a catch from Kids. That shows the throwing skill too. So there is 12 seconds remaining. So DC has a shot, but Nick Whitlock and this Empire team are tough to score on at the end of the quarter.
Atkins has not played very many deep points this year. Only played 11 all season, but he's out there now on D for the end of quarter. End zone pile-up situation if it transpires. Most important thing for the Breeze is don't give it away and give New York a chance to score. Merriman uncorks the backhand. This is good if it goes. 3 Breeze, 4 Empire, waiting for it. And it is Hauled in by Farah. Atkins says he got it first. Daniel Wong and Mia Greiner converge. The officials still have not signaled.
And I think Grovic also took a shot in the air.
It's called a DC Breeze score. Wong signaled score. Now, did he signal incorrectly? Now they're calling it down and incomplete. Just adding a little drama.
Are you guys gonna look stupid on camera? I hope not.
No goal is the ruling. For what it's worth, Keith, watching it live, I thought Atkins had it first. And if the defender clearly stops rotation first, it's an interception. Ty goes to the offense. As we head to break, you be the judge. The reality is it's New York by 4 as we go to the 4th with a spot in the East Finals. Man, that was so close. Another look at this last sequence at the end of the 3rd. Keith Rayner, what did you see?
Tough to tell. I think Atkins gets the first touch to this disc. And there, I think in that slow-mo angle, you could see that his hand is the first one to get it. I wasn't sure if he closed his hand on the disc prior to Farah, but I think in this view, you can see he gets the first real catch on it. Farah's hand's on the opposite side.
It's really close.
It's really close. I don't really blame any player involved for thinking that they were the first one.
Yeah, if I'm Fred Farah, I think my hand's on it too, and Ty goes to the offense. Dan Hilton down to the sideline. What did you see and hear in the aftermath?
Yeah, the initial call from the Empire players was actually that Bobby Elson had been boxed out of that space. So initially, that's what the Empire players thought the call was. Then when the official designated it a goal, they immediately said, no, it was not a goal. That was a mistake. It was the wrong hand sign. So it switches back to being no goal. And what you guys saw is exactly what the referee saw down here and what I saw too.
Sean Mock going long. Boxley chased by Antoine. And it's the 3rd D of the day, but it's taken away because it's interference. And Antoine and Christian having a chat about it.
I think my first impression here is that Antoine has a stronger case. I thought he might have gotten that one clean.
Looking at live, I certainly agree. Boxley over the top, gets the assist for Shapinski, who's got his 4th goal. Brings the DC Breeze back within 3 with just over 11 minutes remaining in this East Division opening round playoff game.
And the Empire defense, particularly Antoine Davis, just continue to make sure that Christian Boxley doesn't get easy deep scores. I mean, all of these throws have had to float. They've all been under pressure.
Ooh,
That's a clean block.
No doubt.
I understand where Box is coming from because I think on the follow-through he got hit, but the outcome of the play was pretty much concluded at that point. Well, you know, just like any other DC-New York matchup, we've gotten some pretty interesting stuff going on in this one, whether it's end-of-quarter calls, greatest. We've got a little bit of everything here.
Dancing
A
both
lot of
ways.
dancing.
Rushmeyer-Bailey to his knees to receive the pull. Centers to Labar. Greeted by Blumenfeld. Williams bobbles it, and it's intercepted almost for a Callahan by Grovic. And then looking to the end zone, Miles Grovic just had his 6th throwaway of the game.
Certainly a career high for Grovic. I think 3 was his prior high.
Rushmeyer-Bailey doesn't huck often. A.J. Merriman poaching the deep space. Don DeMarais, did he haul it in? He did, but he's out of bounds. They're going to call interference, though. And it's going to be New York's disc on the goal line.
I was going to go home. If he managed to turn that, he's the GOAT.
I mean, it was like gravity didn't apply to him. On the leap, he'll throw the assist to Alex Davis. Can we get a stopwatch to measure how long Don DeMarais was airborne on this leap?
What a play.
My goodness.
For Louvain, Don DeMarais. It has been a tough outing for Miles Grovic, especially in the red zone. So many of these mistakes have come, and he has been a breakout for DC, arguably the MVP of their 2026 campaign. But right now, it's been tough for him to find success offensively. And then great coverage from Merriman, but DeMarais almost gets it. Maybe has an argument he got fouled on that play.
That Merriman has an argument that he got fouled by DeMarais, or vice versa?
That DeMarais has an argument. He's airborne, and he's the one being...
They called the foul on AJ.
Got it. I thought you were saying that there was a push out of bounds that caused the catch to be out of bounds.
Watching it there, I thought maybe DeMarais was in the air for so long because he used his arm on Merriman's shoulder. Regardless, Empire with less than 10 minutes to go, up by 4 again. Breeze just need to keep on holding and give their D-line a chance. Only 5 total breaks in the game. Whitlock nearly a block there.
I don't know how Mott snuck that by him.
Mott throws it, or excuse me, Merriman throws it into the ground. That's the 4th A.J. Merriman throwaway, so 10 total turnovers for Grovic and A.J. combined. Not good enough.
Tough for the Breeze to overcome that.
And those are the 2 step-up guys that you mentioned, and they're the right choices. They've taken the throws that you want the step-up guys to make. They just haven't made them consistently enough.
Whitlock holstering a chance to send a backhand to Fay behind the defense.
Panerella's going deep. Whitlock gives him a chance. He's all alone. He's got plenty of time. And the Empire break, but no, this is coming back. It's a pick call. Shapinski signaling for it as well. One of the reasons perhaps that Panerella was so wide open. Officials have stopped the clock, 8:33 remaining. Pick was long before.
Hand went up early. Chapinski actually the help defender there, I think, in that situation.
Randolph going deep, giving Panerella another chance. But Shapinski helped to block it. Right side of your screen right now, in the distance, you see on a stretcher DC's Marcus Lee, ankle injury. He's about to get an ambulance, it looks like, heading to a nearby facility, hoping for the best for Marcus.
DC's had to deal with injuries all season long, so it won't be new to them.
Boxley close to the goal line and to Andrew Roy. Look, it's a 3-goal game with 7:43 to play.
That's one way to look at it.
As poorly as the Breeze have played in stretches offensively, and as poorly as their stars have played in terms of giving the disc away, they're really right there.
One of the things I say is you don't want to let your last turnover become your next turnover. And that thought means that it doesn't really matter how you've played prior to this point. You just want to execute the best that you can on the next point. Take what's within your system, take what's in your capability, and what the context demands. As we see medical staff getting ready to take care of Lee, who I believe is in the back now.
Yep.
Was not able to put any weight on that ankle as he left the field.
Aiden Downey pulls. DC's D-line 1 for 5 on break chances. Can they create an opportunity here? Yacht gets the foot in bounds near the sideline. Lefties it to Jack, and all of a sudden Don is in the red zone. Williams surveys. The disc's on the ground, and there's the whistle. And Jack Williams will center the disc on the goal line. Nobody in the history of the league has more postseason assists than Jack Williams. And quite frankly, it's not even close. Postseason goals is a different story. Yacht enters this postseason with a 1-goal lead over Boston's Jeff Babbitt, his old teammate. A couple of 2-time MVPs, and there's Desmarais adding to his illustrious stat line.
Yeah, they better watch out. Don's chasing right after them.
That's now 4 goals and 5 assists with over 600 total yards for Don Desmarais, the 25-year-old Belgian.
Yeah, he put up 2 goals and 5 assists in his lone prior playoff appearance with the Union last year. But he's had 4 straight games prior to this with 6 or more scores, including going off for 12 scores against Toronto. I mean, the guy just puts up numbers.
All right, nearing the midway point of this 4th quarter, the Breeze are running out of time. Pull stays inbounds, so Nissen forced to initiate from the sideline. Slithers it up the line for Roy. Andrew Roy hucks it a little bit more than Bruce Meyer-Bailey does for New York, but not much. Schnodigal looking for the block. Norbaum makes the adjustment. Here's Shapinski. Floats it for Boxley. Back to Shapinski. And then Whitlock intercepts the short casual dish looking for Wodash.
That boy got long arms, Evan.
Just now the Breeze getting the stall count on Whitlock, taking his time, dishing for Randolph. Now JR also has 4 throwaways in this game.
Yeah, but he's on the D-line.
Yeah.
The DC offense is starting to look like they're running out of gas here.
This would be New York's 5th break of the day, and Drew Schnodigal's got it. Empire back up by 5 with 5.5 minutes to play.
That could be the dagger. And just too many throws for DC where the receiver was even with or was the furthest person downfield. It's really compressed the amount of horizontal space they were able to use, and that allowed Whitlock to jump into the lane because they didn't have to space the field out expecting a continue throw. And that also is, to me, often a sign of fatigue. It could be a system choice, but in a lot of cases, it's your teammates need to be pushing downfield. And that's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort.
Big Empire pull is going to stay in bounds. Roy feels it deep in the caverns of his own end zone. Merriman gets it out of Callahan territory, and Isaac Lee rips a deep forehand. It's easily intercepted by Bobby Elston.
Quibble with the quality of the throw, but if you're DC, you got to take chances here.
Oliver Fay flubs the short throw from Antoine Davis. Vandenbrink is bumped. AJ Merriman shaking up. He'll trot off. Cole Jurek coming on. Stop clock. In fact, the clock is still ticking. Now they're going to add a little bit of time to it, I think. Empire by 5 with under 5 minutes to play. .453 will be on the fourth quarter clock. DC has beaten New York in the playoffs twice, including last year in one of the worst games the Empire have ever played, but this has not been DC's day. Too many of those.
It's hard to think of an area in which the DC offense has really found a lot of success.
Timeout taken by the Empire. Second straight year these two teams meet in the opening round of the East playoffs. Last year DC won convincingly, but then lost to Boston convincingly. And on this point, I mean, a couple of throws that really never had a chance.
Yeah, hucking from this sideline, trying to go towards the right end zone has been difficult. And Isaac Lee has made that mistake twice, underthrowing both of the forehands up this sideline. He's a very skilled thrower. I watched him absolutely dominate at the college championships in the wind. But
Alex Atkins to initiate. Atkins currently with 440 throwing yards in the game, 718 total. Atkins, the only player in the league this year to have 3 different games with at least 500 throwing yards.
I mean, to me, he's the clear MVP of this regular season.
Clear MVP over Toba, in your mind?
Yes.
I think it's really close. And that's a great block. Tremendous effort there from Micah Wagner.
And I love to see the guy rewarded. He has been working hard all game. He's had a strong defensive game. That doesn't always mean getting blocks, but DC product, plays a Tulane, and is really earning a strong defensive reputation.
Well, that throw never had a chance, but we're going to get a foul. And it's a receiving foul, I think. So AJ is going to get the disc near midfield. And he'll launch immediately. Grovic, 50-50 against Yacht. And Yacht is going to win that matchup more often than not.
He's been here before.
He's got the size, the experience, and as explosive as Miles Grovic is, I'm not sure that's the matchup you want to test. Understand DC needs to score quick. Labar gets it in bounds and then rips it long. Desmarais battling the sun in the wind, and Grovic takes him out from behind. Miles got up huge and got the disc, but he also drilled Don in the back. And that's a foul.
Don's frustrated with that level of contact.
I would be too.
In Frisbee, you are entitled to the space directly above you. The principle of verticality. That's a nice throw by Dong. Assist number 6 for Desmarais. Jack Williams in the end zone with his 4th goal of the game, and this is New York's largest lead of the afternoon.
Grovic going over to give Don Desmarais a little apology there. Class act. Callahan finalist in this year's Division I men's competition. Wagner coming up with the big block. Merriman, nice to see him back on the field after taking the quick injury, but I understand you got to be aggressive, but Desmarais finishing it off.
Hey Keith, put your coaching cap on for me. Obviously,
tell me you're not going to ask me how to come back here.
No, Miles Grovic is a phenomenal young player. Top 5 Callahan finisher this year. Star at the University of Maryland, led their program to the best season in the history of College Park Ultimate. It's been a tough day for him. He's still super young. What would your message to him be? What do you hope he learns from this experience? As Antoine Davis goes deep, that's just really well done. Absorbs the bump, hauls in the goal. New York by 7. They can plan their travel to Boston.
Well, you gotta find things to take away to get better at it. I think Grovic this is the first season where he's really been kind of the guy for his team. And he had that experience in college, but prior seasons with the Breeze, he's really been a receiver-focused player, a guy who goes deep, you make some blocks, you go up and get some skies. Like, that's kind of his job. A different role for him this year, and in this game, felt like he was forcing it a little bit, trying to make more difficult throws in the red zone in particular, and you know, you want to make things happen, but you don't want to press outside of the bounds of what your team is trying to have you do.
So DC was only down 3 at 18-15 with 7:43 to go, but 4 straight for the Empire has put this one out of reach as we tick under 2 minutes to play. DC is going to fall short of their ultimate goal yet again. And we're going to get the matchup that some are calling the de facto championship game. 2 weeks from now, Saturday night, August 8th, 7 p.m. in Medford, Mass. New York, who didn't lose a game in regulation all season, against Boston, who lost to the Empire at home, got revenge in overtime in New York a week later, and then won the rest of their games, including a tough road win shorthanded at Minnesota just a few weeks ago.
Interesting that New York has played 2 close games and lost them both. Now, on the right side, you're mostly winning games pretty comfortably. But you wonder, is this team going to feel untested if they get in a really tight matchup?
Well, when they won 3 championships in the span of 4 UFA seasons, the Empire were 37-3 in games decided by 5 or less from 2019 to 2023. Since the start of 2024, the Empire are 12-11 in games decided by 5 goals or fewer. More often than not, they take care of business against who they're supposed to beat. And that has been the story today. Clock stops with just over 20 seconds left. New York is going to win its 141st game in the history of the franchise. It's more than any other team in the Ultimate Frisbee Association. And there's one more highlight to put the exclamation point on this opening round victory. 23-15 for the New York Empire. There are still 6 seconds on the clock, but Oliver Chartok and company are on their way to the East Final.
And remember when you were saying it was a 3-goal game, but it's really felt like New York's been in the driver's seat the whole way. There weren't a lot of periods of this game where you felt like DC was playing at their level. Do you think that this game was as uneven as last year's playoff matchup where DC was on top?
Say it again?
Do you think that this game was as uneven a match as last year's game where DC was on the other
I think
side?
this game was far closer than last year's game. Isaac Lee is not even going to take one more chance. For the second straight game in this UFA opening round playoff action, the home team closes with 5 goals in a row. Carolina last night finished off an 11-goal win over San Diego. And here back at Focina Field, where the Empire practice every Wednesday during the season, New York closes strong and wins it 23-18. They've earned another Wednesday back here at Focina.
A lot to feel really good about if you're New York. Offensive execution, especially in the first half. Defense came out and generated a lot of blocks, a lot of pressure, and I think really wore down DC's offense. By the second half, DC's offense felt more fatigued, and it was harder for them to execute even on stuff that was open.
8-goal win, 23-15 for New York. For the Empire, it is their 17th postseason win in the history of the franchise. That's the most in league history. They're now 17-8 as they pursue their 4th championship. I wrote it in the Tuesday Toss this week, Keith. I really believe that the favorite for the championship this year will be whoever wins in Boston in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but right now, it's neither of them because you can't bet on either one being the one that comes out.
There's certainly great teams in every other division. Carolina and Austin, both formidable. Minnesota and Oakland as well. This was the bracket coming into the weekend. We can pencil in the Flyers for the South. The New York Empire are moving on. Later tonight, exclusively on WatchUFA.tv, it's the Seattle Cascades and the Salt Lake Shred. And then tomorrow, Indianapolis goes to Breese-Stevens Field to take on the Madison Radicals.
You're not flying out there for that one, are you? You're not calling that one too?
I look forward to being on my couch tomorrow night and watching the Radicals and the AlleyCats. I've done 3 games in a weekend before. But man, this has been a fun couple of days for me personally. And you know, we've seen a couple fantastic performances from Carolina last night and New York today against formidable 3 seeds. I mean, San Diego and DC had really special seasons, but Flyers and Empire a couple steps above.
Setting up some very tantalizing divisional championship matchups.
Yeah, and that's always my favorite weekend of the year. I mean, championship weekend is special, but divisional championship weekend is different. Let's talk about this postseason victory with Don Desmarais. Don, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on getting this win. 6 assists, 4 goals, just 1 turnover for you. Big picture, what in your mind was the story of this game? How did you and your team fight off the Breeze's intensity to get this win?
I think we haven't had a lot of, I haven't had a lot of reps together with them, so I was like, let's just enjoy some more time with each other and just beat the guys of DC. And yeah, we did it. We were very strong in the first 2 quarters, and then saw a little bit less in the third one. But then we just closed it out pretty well.
The defense really showed up here in the second half. What do you think your D-line was doing so well against DC's offense?
I mean, they were just converting on a higher level, and that's just what we need at the start of the game when you want some separation from them and some confidence from the D-line to the O-line. It just gives a lot of trust, so yeah.
Don, it feels like it's been a collision course, New York and Boston. You versus Tobe, obviously a lot of great players on both teams. What are your first thoughts as you get ready to face Boston in a couple of weeks?
Happy to see my Belgian friends, and it's going to be a great game. It's been 2 great games in the regular season, so I'm looking forward to it.
When you think back to the 2 regular season games, what stands out most about your win at Boston and your loss here against the Glory?
I think we just gotta work hard and let them know that we are there. I think that's all.
When you think about what makes your Empire team as good as it is, what is the story? What's it been like joining this team and finding your role on this squad of stars?
Yeah, it took some time to find like my position a little bit, but they gave me a lot of freedom. So I'm really happy with that. I haven't practiced that much with them. I've played more games than I practiced with them, so it's a bit of an unusual situation, but I'm super happy, and I think just this team has so much experience and they know how it is to lose these games, and they know how to win these games. So yeah, they have just a lot of experience, and it's your advantage, but it's also your disadvantage. So yeah.
All right, Don, stay healthy. Enjoy the very busy summer of Ultimate that you got coming up. Look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks in Boston.
Oh yeah, thank you very much.
Congrats on the win today. Don Desmarais is our Delta difference maker. 6 assists, 4 goals, 682 total yards is the final number. Atkins, 718. Keith, the Empire, we're not perfect today. They have 13 turnovers, which is a couple more than their season average, but they were certainly good enough. Their defensive pressure, their downfield playmaking, and they get the win.
Yeah, they showed that they don't have to be a perfect team to win. I mean, they won this comfortably, and this is a team that we've talked about how efficient their offense can be, but if their defense is going to go out there and take the disc away with the force that they did in this game, they could be reasserting themselves as the favorite in this league.
Final score 23-15. The Empire get their first playoff win since 2023, if you can believe it. And it'll be New York and Boston 2 weeks from today for the East title. Thanks so much for being with us. For our entire broadcast crew, my partner Keith Rayner, Dan Hilton down on the sidelines, Evan Lepler saying so long from New Rochelle. The New York Empire are headed back to the East Division Finals. Enjoy the rest of the playoff weekend, everybody. See you in the South Division Final 13 days from now in Texas.
Okay.
I know you how to track them anyway.
Well, these ones are sort of not labeled.
Connected?
I'm sure it's okay as long as the camera is in the right place and things are.
I'm assuming the camera's right. There's like one place for the camera to be.
Holy shit. I can't believe we got on and off the air. Mostly clean in that one.
Yeah, it seemed a little touch and go there.
Bro, dude, me and Carol in the fucking car going to Staples to get a jump drive at 12:30. No, 1:30. 1:30. So we could put the preset from Dan's computer on the jump drive. We had no internet down there. And then transfer the preset to the production machine. We got it done, and our open was clean. Miracles happen. The problem with complexity of your broadcast is that there's just more things that can go wrong. And
I didn't realize we were doing the open live until like 1:50.
Well, Dana wasn't even on the fucking comms until.
Right.
I promise that the reason we were not on comms was for a good reason.
No, I figured.
And I know it was awful, but it had to be this way. Okay.
At least you got the Dante was okay the whole time? No, like.
The audio was, the production audio was perfectly clean. No issues. The network was never good. We had just enough internet to get stat updates, and that's about it. So, I mean, there were some things that were kind of like off kilter at the start of the broadcast because Dana didn't have time to normally do his prep because we were problem solving so much.
Right.
So like we didn't have the stinger in the A-10 until midway through the first quarter. So we were feeding into replays. Not what you want,
But hey, you got it done.
you know. At the end of the day, we got it done.
Am I okay to unplug this red one and keep going?
Yes. Let me unplug all of these things for you. You can do all of these SDI tracks.
You guys, are we walking everything back to the truck?
You packed out your drone already?